I want to talk a bit about this notion of companies reporting good earnings and still seeing their stock price fall. And a lot of clients are, they're baffled when they see this. A lot of investors in general are baffled when they see this type of thing. And I called it right off the top of the show, you buy into the rumor and you sell the news. So you buy the stock thinking that they're going to report good earnings. And then once they report good earnings, basically, investors say, okay, well, we got what we were looking for, and you take some profit off the table. And so there have been a number of companies that unfortunately saw their stock prices fall once they reported earnings, and some of them for really strange reasons. The first chart we have here is one on Meta Platforms, formerly Facebook. And you can see the drop off in share price of Meta after they reported a quarter that was fantastic. Growth was unbelievable. There 3.2 billion people are on Meta apps every single day. There's only about 8 billion people in the world. I know I keep telling you that stat, but it's just a phenomenal stat. And when they said that they're going to be spending more and more money on artificial intelligence, their own chips, their own programs, that the market didn't like that. And they said, okay, well, you're spending more money. Your costs are going to rise, and the stock sold off. I think personally that I guess investors kind of had deja vu with the stock with respect to their earnings release, because we heard similar story when Meta said they were going to spend billions and billions of dollars on the metaverse. And we know what happened. Individual investors did not like that, all that spending. And so they sold the stock off tremendously. Well, this is obviously very different. And the metaverse really hasn't materialized as yet, at least to the degree that I think the CEO, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, had envisioned. But AI, I think, is here now and very real. And just with our interview with Bob Tapscott telling us how it's going to revolutionize the way we live and do business. So the idea that Meta is spending all this money on artificial intelligence, in my opinion, is not a reason to sell the stock. So I believe a name like Meta, for those that can handle the risk, may be an opportunity for some that want to buy the shares here, because this stock was well over $500 a share, and now it's in the 400, 430, 440 range. So name like Meta, definitely investors sold when those results came out. They sold based on spending. And we've seen a lot of spending. And we heard Google talk about a lot of spending in AI, Microsoft, a lot of spending in AI. But for some reason, those companies were able to get away with higher spending, whereas Meta, perhaps because of its history, was not. Another name that was sold off based on earnings, and we talked about this, I think, on our last show, was JP Morgan. And we have a chart here. This chart I wanted to show because JP Morgan, again, like Meta, sold off, but has recently come back almost to its prior highs of about $200 a share. So will Meta do the same? I think it may. When cooler heads prevail and everybody sees that Meta is doing what they should do to advance their business, to do well in a world where AI is becoming more and more prominent and spending in the right areas, perhaps Meta has the same chart down the road as JP Morgan has. And we saw the dip after earnings and a rebound shortly thereafter. So just because a stock sells off after earnings, it doesn't mean the earnings were bad. You really have to do your homework, study, listen to the conference call, listen to what the CEOs are saying, understand what they've reported. Is it a good report? Is it something that is promising for the future? What are they saying in the quarters to come? Are they upgrading? Are they increasing what they believe they will make? This is meaning the companies. Will companies increase or announce increase in earnings going forward? Or are they saying that they're in tough going forward? So listening for what corporations are saying at this time when they're all talking about their latest earnings is extremely important. And don't get boggled down in case a stock does sell off after earnings if it's really being sold for the wrong reasons. So you really have to do your homework and don't get too worried if a stock sells off and the old adage, buy the rumor, sell the news, takes hold.